Hello, 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 Stamping Friends. Good evening, good evening, good evening. How is everyone? I am Caron Bailey, your ATX Stampin' Lady. Come on into the craft room, guys, and let's start crafting. Woohoo! All right, guys, I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. I am located here in Austin, Texas, known as the ATX Stamping Lady, and we are on day 8 of the 12 days of crafting Advent Calendar Adventure. That's what I'm calling this. I'm calling this an adventure because every day is a new reveal and new things that we get to play with. This is our advent calendar kit or box that we came in. It's such a beautiful box. We have been opening daily all of the awesome goodness that's in here. We've opened day 1 through 7 and 8. We opened 8 last night. So I had an opportunity to think about what I was going to be creating for you guys today because I'm finding that I do need a little bit of creativity time or think time to come up with our project. So before we get started on tonight's project, I just wanted to do a quick recap of the cards and projects that we made thus far utilizing the kit items. Now, the kit itself as $99 price point comes with this stamp set. And so for the day 1 card, we use the stamp set and dies were day 1. So here's our first card. Day 2, we had some designer series paper, so we built on the dies by adding the designer series paper. Day 3, we did a day 3 and day 4 because I didn't have an idea. So I combined day 3 and day 4, which were the gems and these awesome little gold tinged labels was day 3 and day 4. But I did promise you that I would go back and do a card just for day 3. We will have 12 products, 12 items that we have made by the end of this journey. Day 4, I'm sorry, this is day 5. Day 5, we had the stencils. Okay, and this it was a 4 mask stencil set that came with a little embossing, a little brush. Um, so that was day 5. Day 6, we had the puffer stickers. Oh my God, this is one of my favorites. I love this. And day 7, we had another set of dies. You guys, at this price point, this is absolutely amazing. You just cannot miss with this $99. Now, this items is now in our last chance items. So anything that's in our last chance items in that section of the store is while supplies last. So if you have seen anything and everything that you have enjoyed these past 7 days that we have used thus far and you want to get this kit, I would tell you not to delay. All right, so here we go, and we're getting ready to start with our day 8 card. Now, day 8, I'm going to have to put these all back in their envelopes. Day 8 offering was some baker's twine. Now, this challenged me just a little bit, and I'll tell you why it challenged me. Um, if you go onto Pinterest or anything like that, which is kind of what I did, there were no dies, there were no cards that were um, Baker's twine focused, and that's what I try to do. I try to make whatever that day's item is be the focal point of um, our offerings. Now, this seems to be, I think this is more like our Misty Moonlight. And this is probably close to our strawberry slush. So that's the colors that I'm saying. Unfortunately, the little boxes, it doesn't tell you like the colors. So we do a lot of guessing, and nothing wrong with guessing. So let's get started with tonight's project. I kind of have an idea in my head, but I'm not 100% sure um, how we're going to work that project. So let's just jump right on in. We are going to work with this piece of designer series paper. One, it's my favorite color. I love blues. And I think I'm going to trim this down. This is probably a 4-inch piece of cardstock. This is 4-inch. I guess maybe I'll just do 4 by 5 1/4. I was going to trim it down to 3 3/4 by 5. Um, I might still do that. I might still do that. Let's do that. So oh, sorry, that's a 4 side. So let's trim this down to 5. Mm, yeah, 3 3/4 by 5. I am going to do the 3 3/4 by 5. Okay. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a piece of basic white cardstock and I'm going to trim it down to 2 pieces, and I'm going to trim that down to 4 by 5 1/4. Now I'm going to do 2 pieces because for me, it's probably the only way I'll get this lined up straight is if I do it the way that I'm going to be doing it. All right, guys, if you give me just one quick second, let me go ahead and check. Um, I'm not seeing if there's any comments. Let me pop on over to YouTube and see if anybody's talking to me. Sorry about that. Mm, hmm. All right. Let me get my phone out. Sorry, guys. It's always helpful for me to be able to see if I've got comments. Otherwise, I'm unable to respond if you end up talking to me. So give me just a quick second. Let me get this done. Mm. All right, so we're on and live. I'm not seeing any comments thus far, so we'll go ahead and we'll keep on moving. All right, so now that we've got that, let's go ahead and we're going to trim these 2 sheets down to a 4 by 5 1/4. I think I trimmed these down to 3 3/4, right? By 5. So we're going to make these 4 by 5 1/4. Now, I always have quarter panels made up. I will buy like packs of Stampin' Up! Basic White, and I'll just take them down to Kinko's or FedEx, not Kinko's, FedEx, and I'll just have FedEx chop them into quarter panels for me. That way I always have quarter panels ready to create with. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rip this. I was going to do a fan, maybe I'll do that. Where is my big scissors? I want to do it in one big swoop. I could do it the torn paper way, but I think I'm just going to I'm just going to try to make a neat little Oh, I've got adhesive on this side. That's why it's sticking. I was wondering why my nips, my scissors was not doing what I wanted it to do. Hold on. All right. Mm-hmm. All right. Guys, you can rip this any way you want to rip it. Hi, guys. Thanks for joining me. Please say hello. I would love to know who is watching and who has joined me. All right. So depending on how big um, of a space I want in here, I'm going to kind of line this up where I want this to be. Right? Because that's all I'm going to do. Right? So let's do this. Let's just go ahead and adhere this. You can do this with a smaller sheet of designer series paper. I'm choosing to use a piece that is 3 3/4 by 5, but that's my preference. And I tend to sometimes err on the side because for me, um, again, just lining things up tends to be a little bit of a challenge for me. All right, so if we put this right here, we'll have about 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. All right. Okay. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to kind of try to figure out how much space I want here in between. And one of my friends taught me this about using, and I have to give her credit for this, Valerie, about using designer series, not designer series paper. What's that thing called? I really can't. I'm not thinking about it. So let's do one side first. All right. Turn it over. And that's why we cut them at the same size, right? And then I'm going to just grab a piece of, what's this thing called? Um, what is this called? Sticky, right? Because now I know I don't, anything below this line, I don't want to have any adhesive on, right? So now that I know, now I know I'm going to add adhesive. And since she taught me that little trick, oh my gosh, my life has been so much easier. Right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this guy, making sure it's lined up on both sides, and then there we go. We've got that where we want it to be, right? And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I am going to trim them down because again, I know I want a panel that's 4 by 5 1/4, which is why I had my base. I love this trick. I'm going to do this as a tip Tuesday for tomorrow for you guys. All right. So there we go. Do the same thing. Add our adhesive. All right, guys, just as a reminder, tomorrow, the 9th of December, is the last day for the Cyber Monday special on our paper pumpkin kits. Now, the special is when you purchase a 3, 6, or 1 year, 3 month, 6 month, or 1 year subscription, you're able to take advantage of some deals and steals. You get $20 off of the regular subscription price for the. I'm looking for my trimmer. I know I just had the thing. uh, Off the. I swear. All right, so now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim this because I know I need this to be 4 by 5 1/4. See? And 5 1/4. Now all I'm doing is I'm lining up. There we go. And that's how I get the panels to be exactly where I need them to be. I'm sorry, 3 3/4 by 5. I made the panels. It's 4. Oh, okay. So I miscalculated. This is 4 by 5 1/4. And now we're gonna finish the rest of this card. I promise I'm trying to make them a lot easier for you guys. Okay. Now, before you do anything else, you could have put dimensions on these so that these would have a little bit of a lift on there, a little bit of separation. I'm choosing not to, but you can do that. Now, and the other thing that I'm going to do with this is I'm going to grab a, what is that? Oh, before I do that, I'm going to stamp oh no, I was going to stamp, but I already have these die cut, so I'm going to use these in our card process. So we won't do anything with that. So I'm just going to run this through the embossing machine just to put a little bit of texture on here. Um, just a little bit of texture to finish off this card. You could leave it the way it is, but I would just like a little bit of, well, maybe I won't do that. Okay, I'm not going to do that. So now I need a piece. I know I'm all over the place with this card, right? So now I'm looking for a piece of designer or matting, and I think I'm going to go with, um, let's go with the Misty Moonlight, okay? Give me 1 second. Let me grab a sheet of Misty Moonlight. The thing about not or doing these on a fly, especially on the fly, especially if you're not sure what you're going to be working with, is that unfortunately you do have to break away a little bit to get things done. How was everybody's day today? I hope everybody had a great day. I worked from home today, so I had a pretty good day. So let me just make sure I have the measurements of this thing right, so before I trim. So this is 4, and this is 4. It is 4 by 5. So somehow or the other, I cut a little bit off, but that's okay. We just now need a mat that's 4 1/8 by 5, 4 1/8. Ooh, it shifted on me. I felt it. 4 1/8 by 5 1/8. Okay, that's going to be our mat. And then where our ribbon is going to come in is when we stamp our sentiment. And I think, let's see, I'm going to have you help me figure out which sentiment I want to use today, or which strip I want to use. So our choices today are, we can use that one, the little circle. We can use that one. I know the other one that I want to use. We can use this one. I think I want to use this one. So here are our choices. This is number 1. This is number 2. And this is number 3. I'm going to give you guys a second to decide and give me some options. Guys, I am definitely thinking about embossing. I should always go with the first thing that's on my mind because I'm actually obsessing over whether or not I should obsessing about whether or not I should emboss that. And because I'm obsessing about it, it means I'm gonna do it because I'm obsessing about it. Yes. So generally, when I'm crafting, I tend to go with the first thing that comes to my mind to do. So I'm wanting to go ahead and emboss this. So I think I am going to grab an embossing folder and run it really quickly through the embossing machine. So again, I'm going to step away for a second and I'm going to do a little bit of embossing. I should always do what my gut tells me to do when I'm crafting because I, you know, I'm never happy until I do. So um, I may as well have done it. And it's just going to add just so much, a little bit more texture, a little bit more oomph to the card project. All right. I feel much better with that. I feel so much better. Can you see the texture in it? Perfect. I love it. All right, so now I'm gonna I can never leave well enough alone. All right, so let's grab our sentiment, our stamp set, and did you tell me which one you wanted us to use? Want to go with the circle, or we want to do our little oval? I don't know. All right, so we've used miss you, birthday, big thanks, always in my heart, for someone extra special, I don't think we've used thinking of you. Let's use the thinking of you today. Let me make sure. Because again, I want to use all of the... Yes, I did use thinking of you. Okay. So I used thinking of you. Always in my heart. Big thanks. Okay. So proud of you we have not used. So let's grab proud of you. And I think in this instance, the circle might make a little bit more sense. So let's go ahead and grab our block. Oops. Now let me share with you another tip, and I keep forgetting about this one, right? Photopolymer is very sticky, right? And so to if when you're trying to align your stamp, you'll see that you can touch it just a little bit and it'll just move everything out of whack. So the best thing to do is grab an eraser, a pencil with an eraser, something a little bit tacky, not like rubber, and use that to move. That's another tip. Use that to put your stamp set where you want it to be. All right, let's go ahead and stamp, ink up our sentiment. You're probably wondering, when is she gonna get to the um, when is she gonna get to the uh, there we go. I'm getting there, I promise you. Well, for those of you that have joined me, welcome. If you are new to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. If it's your first time, I am ecstatic to have you here. I hope you will you'll come back for the remaining, what's today? The remaining 4 days as we finish up this Advent series um, and beyond. All right, let's go ahead and heat emboss. Oops, add our little powder. Oh my gosh. So these are definitely not reversible tweezers, right, you guys? So for me, um, reversible tweezers are a must in card making. Okay. Why the reversible ones? Because the reversible tweezers, the automatic position for them is closed, right? So I don't have to hold on to it. It will stay closed, right? Whereas regular tweezers, their standard position is open. So in order for it to close, I've got to continue to apply pressure to it. Totally reverse than reversible tweezers, which is why I love them. All right, give me just a second. Let me heat emboss this. Let it heat up. And just make sure that we brush any of the excess right off. All right. So our embossing is complete. And guys, we are almost finished with this card. Almost, right? Because we still have to use our red twine. So here's how I'm going to use the twine. And it's going to be, let's make sure, so our sentiment is down that way. I'm going to grab me some tear and tape. I'm just going to lay a couple of strips over it. Now I couldn't, again, like I said, I could not find many, many card ideas where the baker's twine was the focused or the focal point. It was always an accent to something else, right? So unfortunately, that not unfortunately, everything has its own purpose, right? And that's just happens to be its purpose. All right, so before I do that, so I think I'm gonna go, obviously I'm gonna go with the Misty Moonlight. All right, and here we go. Let's go ahead and remove our adhesive backing. I don't want to lift it up. May not have burnished it in properly. That's the reason why you burnish them in, the adhesive in, so you don't lift it up. All right. So I'm making sure it's this way. All right, so now I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap this around my fingers a couple of times. Let's go about 3 or 4 times. Mm, let's go, I'm going to wrap it around 4 of my fingers. I want it to be a little bit big. 2, 3, and 4. Let's do one extra wrap. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to release this, twist them a little bit. You don't have to twist them. I tend to do it. And let's see, I think it's up and down that way. So now all I'm going to do is make sure that I have some loops that are down. Oh, see, I was hoping. Uh, I didn't make them wide enough. I did not. Hold on. That's going to be too wide. But we'll work with it. We'll go with it. Right? We're going to loop this. And then we're going to add it down like that. Right? And then we're going to just take a little bit of time and spread our loops. Because we want it to be a little bit whimsical. And I don't always do it so neat. It doesn't look neat, which is why I try not to do anything bow related on camera if possible. Because for me, it's not a neat process. I'm going to spread these loops a little bit. Yeah. So that we can see how it looks on this side. Boom. Okay. So we have our loop. And then, ooh, this is a, hold on. I want to see if I have a punch. This is about a, so I wonder, I have a 1 3/4 inch punch, don't I? Hold on, you guys. Again, this is what happens when you're kind of working with an idea. I didn't find my 1 3/4 inch punch, but I do have a 1 7/8 inch punch. Okay. And I'm just going to mat this guy right on that. Oh, I love it when an idea comes together. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And I'm just going to add more tape over it. And I'm adding more tape because I need for this part now to adhere to the 1 7/8 inch circle punch. Okay. And that's our ribbon, guys. We have used our baker's twine today. Gonna burnish that in. Yep. And then we are almost finished. I know. I'm kind of fast today. So other things that you could do to create a little bit more of a wow or a now card. Obviously, I embossed the panel. You could have just done the torn edge, the ripping technique. There we go. That's perfect. We're going to put that here. Make sure that's down. Perfect. And then we're going to pop this up with some dimensionals. I was working with was our birthday kit. It wasn't a birthday kit. It was the kit that we used for the World Card Making Day. I was working with that kit today, this morning. There we go. I am so trying hard not to fill those little holes. I am. That's my shtick. That is my shtick, y'all. I have to fill. I don't like to see gaps. All right. So when you have embossed a panel and there's a lot of texture to it, which is why you emboss, because you want your texture, you have to use a lot of adhesive to ensure that it sticks to whatever it is you're going to be adhering it to. I make sure that I get to the edges because I don't want that to lift up. I would probably use double-sided tape, but for me, I would never be able to, I want to say never, because I could give myself a chance, but the chances of me laying it on straight is challenging, to say the least. All right, so we got that part down. What I need to do now is find my paints, because of course I'm going to do a little bit of splattering. Um, and let's grab some paint colors. I think this blue might be nice. That might be really nice. This one right here. I keep a little jar of water in here. If you're like, how did you get that water? All right, guys, don't forget to also set your calendar. This Sunday is our Roll of the Die event. If you're not familiar with Roll of the Die, we do have the playlist. I'll put a link to it. Roll of the Die is where I roll the dice and I create. Whatever that die told me to do is what I will do. It is a set of 5 dice. Look at that. Just added a little bit of interest. Oops. Let me turn that light maybe a little bit much. Can you see that? All right, so there we have that. Then we're going to add our sentiment on. And I think, hmm, no, it might be a little much over there. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the proud of you here. And then I'm going to put this guy up here. What do we think about that layout? I always invite you guys to give me your opinion on something that I'm laying out, but I do think this looks better here. But my question is, do I want to put this guy here? Hmm. I think I'm going to need some adhesive in there. I didn't get all the way down to that end. And of course, there's the twine in there. So let's just make sure we've got that securely fastened. All right, so again, still waiting for your opinions if you have one. Should we, I think it'll just be a little bit busy. Or maybe not. Because everything will be focusing here. I don't like that as much. I think I'm just going to put this up here. That's where I'm going to put it. All right. Let's try to make sure this is as straight as Caron can get it. All right, we're going to put that right here. And then I'm going to attach this one right up there, again with some dimensionals. I always used to play guess how many dimensionals Caron's going to use. I bet you didn't think I was going to use 6 on this one flower, did you? All right, guys, so if you do see anything, any of the products that I've used this evening, again, you will find the 12 days of crafting advent calendar. You can find that in my online store, and you can find my store information. It is www.sweetsignatures.stampingup.net. That is where you will find my store. Let's add some Winka Stella. And yes, Winka Stella can be found in the online store. And if you have a question about anything stamping related, well, if you have a question about anything, really, if I can answer it, I will answer it. My contact information is listed in the description, but it'll also scroll across at the top of the screen. So if you do need to reach me, you're more than welcome to reach out to me at my contact information that's listed. If you do not have a demonstrator, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. If you just want to hang out with me on Thursdays mostly, whenever I go live, just make sure that you click the notification bell when you subscribe to the channel, and you'll be notified every time I go live. Okay, here we go. I would normally pop this up, but I'm not going to do that because it's already have dimensions, dimensionals. It's already got dimensions with the sentiment and the flower image that I added, so I'm not going to add any more dimensions. I don't like my edges to lift up, so that's what I do with that. And then I have to kind of remember that I did, this was a little bit, there we go, perfect. Just kind of go on in there with my finger and burnish that. Let me put this away. And you guys, I'm going to add a little bit of gems. Our day 3 offering. Yes, I'm going to use these guys as much as I can throughout this process. Definitely going to put one in the center here. Perfect. And then let's put one here. And I do try to observe the rule of 3 or the rule of odds, all depending on what's floating my boat at the time I'm creating. If you do not have a take your pick tool, you guys, it is one tool that I would highly encourage you to add to your toolkit as soon as possible. Okay? It is a very useful tool for picking up things like gems. Like I just did. All right, so I put 3 of them on here. Do you think we need any more? Ideally, I would probably put one everywhere. Actually, that would still be the rule of odds, wouldn't it? 1, 2, that'd be 5. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to add them. So I'm going to go with the rule of odds this time, and not so much the rule of 3. All right, that one right there, and I think right here. Okay, guys, everything as a designer is completely designer's choice. So there is no right, there is no wrong answer when you create your card, okay? Just keep that in mind. You may not observe the rule of three or the rule of odds. That's up to you. There we go. And then this one will go. I think I need more adhesive here. I can guarantee you that. And then this one will go right here. Oops. All right. And with that, guys, our day 8 project is complete. What do you think? I love it. Easy to create. These projects, I'm not trying to make them any, like, with any degree of difficulty. All right, so there we go. Excited about that. Woohoo! Day 8 is complete. Guys, so we have day 9 to look forward to. Anybody excited besides me to see what day 9 has to offer? Okay, give me 1 second. Let me clean up my spot just a little bit. And then I'll bring it out and then we'll open and see what day 8 has for us. All right. All right. Woohoo! Day 8. Guys, imagine after tomorrow, we've got 3 more days. Well, we've got 4 more days left. 9, 10, 11, and 12. I'm excited to see what this one is. Number 11. I'm excited to see what they all are. Where's the little opening here? Oh, there we go. Try not to break my fingernails. I'm trying not to break my fingernails. Oops. I didn't want to do that either. Well, I must say it's been packaged very well. There is absolutely no chance of anything slipping out of here unless you wanted it to. All right, let's see. Let's see. Ooh. Ooh. All right, guys, day 9. Here's what we have to work with. Now, these are, we got some more ephemera in here. Ooh, stuff that we can use to create some cards. And these, I believe, are little 3x4, like our Memories and More card kit offerings. Hold on, let me, right? So there is, let's see how many are in here. Oh, these are double-sided. Look. Oh, look at that. I'm already in love with this. Stencil. Does that remind you of our stencil? Look at that. Look at that. Now, okay, so let me just go through the front side of each, right? That way, and then I can flip them all. So this is our first. This is the second. Three. This guy's already done. All we need to do is probably put a couple of gems on this. 4. 5. 6. This is upside down. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Okay, so we've got 10 double-sided sheets. of, I believe these are 3x4s, 3 inches. Yep, 3x4 pieces of designer series paper. Is that the same piece that's here? Oh no. Okay. I just love these. This is beautiful. Now these items are exclusive to this kit. So they, as far as I know, they will not be available um, in the store at all outside of in the kit. Oh, look at this. I love this, you guys. So this is what we have to work with for tomorrow. I can't wait to rack my brain and see what I come up with for tomorrow. But in the meantime, you guys, that's all I got for you tonight. Day eight's card. Simple. And here we go. Now, I have my team meeting on Wednesday, so I will more than likely either pre-record Wednesday session, or I will go live like really, really late in the evening after I'm done with my team meeting. So, um, depending on what's going on, what I get done, we'll see what happens on Wednesday. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I know you had the opportunity just to watch many other demonstrators create for you. The fact that you've chosen to spend some time with me, I am truly appreciative of you making that choice. Until tomorrow, you guys, have a good evening and happy stamping.